The character of Macbeth, Part 1, Act 1. We hear about Macbeth before we see him. He's mentioned in the very first scene by the witches, who are setting up a meeting with him at dusk after a battle. This is troubling for the audience, since the witches are clearly up to no good, and as people who do the devil's work, want to be avoided. We are left to ponder over the possible troubling connection between these supernatural beings and the play's hero. This unsettling start, however, is overturned somewhat by the bloodied captain's report in the very next scene, where Macbeth is described as brave, valiant, and worthy. Here, Macbeth is presented as a good person, loyal and true to King Duncan. Therefore, by the time we see him on stage for the first time in Act 1, Scene 3, the audience's expectations are hopeful, if a little tempered by the witch's desire to meet with him. Macbeth's opening line is not promising, as it's a clear echo of what the witches say at the end of the opening scene. The echoing can be interpreted as being coincidental, but Shakespeare has done this deliberately for the more attentive listener, hinting that Macbeth is primed to be corrupted by the witches' promises. Certainly, once he has encountered the witches, he is already succumbing to temptation. Compare how he reacts to the witches and their prophecies with Banquo's more careful and sceptical approach. Notice how he wants to know more, and is sorry that they vanish into thin air. It's telling, too, that Banquo feels the need to state the obvious and warn his friend about not trusting witches. For more on Banquo as a foil to Macbeth, see the revision video on Banquo. As an audience, we are privy to Macbeth's innermost thoughts as revealed to us through the use of soliloquies. It is clear that he is conflicted almost as soon as he hears the prophecies. Instead of doing the right thing and ignoring the witches because they do the devil's work, Macbeth wavers and says that it may not necessarily be a bad thing. Alarmingly, as early as Act 1, Scene 3, Macbeth is already thinking about the murder of Duncan, and this is before he sees his wife. All of this strongly suggests that the witches are desirous to meet with Macbeth because they somehow know that he harbours a secret desire to become king. The fact that Macbeth is so quick to begin to surrender to murderous thoughts can also suggest that he is weak-willed and easy to manipulate. Yet, it is easy to overstate how far Macbeth has fallen in his first scene. At this stage of the play, he is still uncertain about what to do. He decides at the end of Act 1, Scene 3 to wait and see, and although he is bitterly disappointed when Duncan suggests that Malcolm will be the next king in the next scene, he is still not yet ready to kill, despite his black and deep desires. Macbeth is at least aware that his thinking is wrong and that he needs to resist his immoral urges. Lady Macbeth, on the other hand, has no such qualms, and it is arguably she who has the biggest indirect impact on Macbeth, even more so perhaps than the witches. The Macbeth's marriage is an interesting one, and the subject of another revision video, as it is a close, intimate relationship seemingly built on openness. Macbeth tells his wife everything about the witches, and she makes her intentions to her husband perfectly clear. Nevertheless, Macbeth still prevaricates. In the final scene of Act 1, he has a moment of clarity and realizes that to murder Duncan is folly, and admits that it's only his ambition which makes him want to be king, hardly justification for murdering an old man in his bed. Finally, he has made his decision, and morally, if not dramatically, it is the right one. This he communicates to Lady Macbeth, who astonishingly manages in a few dozen lines to change Macbeth's mind, further evidence of Macbeth's weak will and suggestive character. Lady Macbeth manages this feat by attacking his male pride through questioning his masculinity and illustrating her own determination with an outrageous and horrifying claim that she would sooner violently kill her own child than go back on her word. Out of shock, admiration, or both, Macbeth reverses his earlier decision of just a few moments ago and commits to the assassination of the king. With it, he seals not just the fate of Duncan, but that of himself, his wife, Banquo, and other later characters.